Johanna Kollar. I work for Google. I am responsible for, currently, the commercial success of Android messages in Africa and the Middle East. I am here today to talk about a new platform that Google has built. And we're rapidly deploying it around the world. It's quite new. It's an emerging technology. But what it does is it upgrades good old SMS, your native messaging client on your phone, to a rich IP experience for personal and for business communications. So what I would like to focus on today in the brief amount of time that I have here is I'm going to talk mostly about the business messaging platform side of this. Okay, I have about 20 slides. I'm going to go through them quite quickly because I would like to save time for Q&A. And while I'm going through this prezzo, I would like you to keep 3 statistics in your mind. Okay. 1, messaging is the #1 thing that people do on their mobile phones. Number 2, the average mobile phone user spends over 4 hours a day on their phone. And number 3, does anybody know, we had a quiz earlier about how old Google is. Does anybody know how old SMS is as a technology? Do you have any guesses? It's 26 years old. And we're just getting around to upgrading it now. Okay, so this is kind of exciting. It's transformational. And I should make a note here that Google's working in partnership with the GSMA and the whole telco industry to really light this up, because it's time that it needs to happen now. The reason Google's investing in this is because we had this aha moment that we definitely needed to have a consistent and beautiful and delightful messaging experience on the Android platform. So that's where we're coming from. So let me jump into these slides here. So let's put ourselves into a very familiar situation that we experience every day as consumers. We're bombarded with messages from businesses and brands. This number seems extremely high to me, but I can imagine that this is actually happening. Subliminally, billboards, junky websites with spammy ads everywhere. I can see how you could get to 20,000 brand messages a day. But what do consumers actually want? What consumers want is they want a personalized experience. They have very high expectations of businesses these days. So they really expect businesses to kind of understand the context that they're in or that we're in and meet us on those grounds. And they want a one-on-one channel. And what channels are we using today? I think we're all familiar. SMS, mobile apps, call centers, the dreaded call center, email. One of my favorite features about Gmail is that it now has that promotions tab where I hardly ever go and look anymore. So there's just a lot of spam there. But these are the channels we're kind of stuck with in terms of connecting with our customers if we're a business or a brand. And there are some good things about these channels, but some of the not so great things. SMS is limited in how much you can communicate. There's no rich media, there's no branding. Mobile apps. So what research shows us is that 85% of people spend all their time in 5 apps on their phone. That's it. I probably have 30, 40 apps on my phone, actually, but I'm not really spending a lot of time there. Call centers, this is kind of I don't know about you, but for me, this is like the last resort. If I really need to get something resolved, I will get on the phone. What businesses hate about this is it's really expensive. So typically, you can get on the phone and you can get your problem resolved, probably faster than email, right? If you need like immediate resolution, it's an emergency. But the cost for every live agent on a phone call is $4.50. And then email, right? It's still like the killer app. You can still reach lots of people. You can reach your whole customer base with it, but it tends to be a bit spammy and response rates are really low. And then, of course, 51% of us don't even download a new app in 30 days. So there's a lot of talk and hype, and everybody wants to build an app. That's great. Distribution is a really big challenge. So how do you ensure that customers are downloading your app? Not to mention the fact that in our market, a lot of phones are low-end phones, right? Like you can go and buy an Android smartphone for 500 Rand, but it will have low RAM, it'll have low memory capabilities, and sometimes what happens if users download a lot of apps, the phone will just actually break. And the other challenge is, of course, businesses are spending $1 bazillion, actually $1.3 trillion, on customer service calls each year. So this statistic comes from Boston Consulting Group. They did a study trying to encourage brands to rethink how they engage with their customer base. And the estimate that they came up with is that over the next 5 years, $800 billion is going to move away from companies that kind of like don't get it to the companies that do get it right in terms of personalizing their customer engagement approach and meeting their customers on their own grounds. So I'm going to show you what this new platform can do. There's a couple case studies here, and I'm going to leave it at that, and I'll open it up for some Q&A. What does RCS business messaging kind of solve for? What we tried to do, RCS, by the way, stands for Rich Communication Services. We call it business messaging. SMS is amazing because it's the native experience on your phone. When you get a phone, there is a messaging client on it. It's on the home screen, and that's where people are used to receiving and responding to messages. Email's great because it actually has rich media, and you can brand an email. And then mobile apps are great because they're fast and they're intuitive, and people like to use apps, they just don't like to use a lot of different apps. So what we tried to do is we took all these different good qualities about these channels, and we've built a platform which, if you see on the left-hand side, this is old school SMS, right? So this is what we would call A to P, which stands for application to person. When you get one of these messages, what do you typically do with it? Yeah, you probably, you might open it. I've seen people with phones that have, 22 unread SMS messages in their SMS inbox because, some of it is just a bank OTP, or it's, really spammy. There's no branding. You don't even know who sent you this message. So you have this numeric short code on it. There's no pictures, there's no rich media. As a brand, you usually don't even know if someone's read it. You have no analytics, very limited interaction. So what the future looks like for business messaging in Android messages is this is an example from a hotel in Chicago. Now they know that they have someone coming to their hotel that evening. So they can actually reach out to them with a notification and say, hey, I see you're checking in today. Would you like a room upgrade? Would you like to book a table for dinner? Let us know what your check-in time is. All of this is done inside the native messaging app. So I don't need to go and download the Four Seasons Chicago app, which I'm never going to do. I'm never going to go download the Swiss Airlines app because I fly on Swiss Air once a year, so I can do my online check-in, right? But what this allows is this allows the businesses to reach out to you when they know they should be communicating with you, and it gives businesses a branded conversation, allows you to use rich media. I'll show you the suggestions and actions that, you know, with this API on the platform, developers can quickly build a bot, right? It's a bot or an agent is so much easier than building an app. And let me give you some examples. So this is Pizza Hut. Really hard to sell food via SMS. Not going to really work. But if you have pictures of food, it works a lot better. You can, as you can see, actually, let me get to the next one. Subway. Okay, so Subway sandwiches has a photo of the sandwich. They've got a description here. You can click on View My Offer Now, which will take you out to a mobile web page and a promo code. And what they've seen in their campaigns is this actually increases the promo redemption rates by 140% over old school SMS. So this is an example of what we call suggestions. This is a salon or spa called Elements Massage. And they've reached out to one of their customers and they say, hey, do you want to book a massage? Okay, well, which massage therapist would you like to book with? This is all automated, right? Like you can do all of this with the bot. Now, if you want to send somebody out to a live agent, you can, to a call center, and then the call center agent can actually send them back to the bot also. So it can work both ways. But we've found that a lot of businesses are able to, I would say, cover 80% of their customers' anticipated wants and desires if they understand their customers and build this into the bot. So this allows their user to book a hot stone 1-hour massage with their favorite massage therapist all inside the app. This is just an example of, okay, I can type in a text reply if I'd like. I can make a phone call here. I can do a video call here also. I can share a location here. So if you were, I don't know, Uber Eats, right? You could reach out to your customers with a special promo. Would you like this meal? It's 50% off right now from X customer, X restaurant. Share your location, click on it, and great, see you in 20 minutes, done. Payments is also integrated into this. So what we're really talking about is messaging as a platform. This is akin to WeChat. I don't know how many of you are familiar with WeChat. However, the difference is WeChat is, it's a walled garden, right? RCS, business messaging, is built on open ecosystem, open standards, interoperability, in partnership with the industry. This is just another example of Booking.com. Very nice. The travel examples I love because, oops, I travel a lot. So I can see, I can see how this is going to be very useful for me, actually. So I'm very excited about the travel examples. You can, you know, straight to your calendar. You can add the reservation to your calendar. A lot of these companies do use business messaging to drive downloads of their app. So you can deep link out directly into Google Play to download the app. And as I said, there's maps and payments built in. So there's a lot that you can do with the suggested actions to drive engagement. And the engagement part is what's really important, right? So campaign results so far have shown that 86% of the messages are read, extremely high. Click-through rate or tap rate is 22%, which is more than double any kind of response rate on SMS. I think, you know, SMS response rates are quite low because the functionality is quite low, right? Analytics are amazing on this platform. As you can imagine, it's conversational, it's interactive, it's how consumers want to meet their brand that they're engaging with. And we are maintaining a database of verified businesses. There's a lot of spam and abuse control built into the platform. So you will know that if you're receiving a business message, you will know that that business has been vetted. And you will know that the message that you're receiving is from that actual business. That's it. It's a little bit of a whirlwind. I don't know if any of you are familiar with business messaging yet. I'm happy to answer questions. I'm also going to stick around until 5 o'clock or so. And yeah, and please check out our website.
Johanna, you've given us a bit of time. Thank you for that. We are going to break the tea. Before we do, are there any pressing questions? And of all the cameras that I see coming up every once in a while, just a reminder, we're going to send you these decks, so you will get them in the week. There's a question on the far side.
Hello.
The hand is raised really high.
Just wondering if this is going to be sitting inside the Android SMS app, for want of a better word, and if it's cross-platform, so will it be available on iOS?
Yeah, good question. So yes, the front-end client for peer-to-peer communications and for the business messaging communications is called Android Messages. Some of you probably are already using it and it's on your phone and you just don't know because it just looks like the normal old SMS client. What's going to happen by the end of this year is that everyone in South Africa who has Android Messages on their phone will get upgraded from SMS to this rich IP experience that we've all come to expect because that's why we moved to WhatsApp in the first place. Second question on iOS. It's fairly critical. It's not so much of a challenge in these markets because Android is the preferred platform, but Apple, we're in conversations with Apple. The GSMA is in conversations with Apple. They're waiting for a specific amount of traction on the platform before they invest in. What they're going to have to do is they're going to have to go and tweak the code in iMessage, okay, to basically meet the interoperability standards, the RCS industry standards. When they do that, then iMessage will interoperate with Android Messages. So we're expecting that to happen, but at the moment they're taking a bit of a wait and see approach, just until there's significant usage, I would say.
A question I had is around customer experience and kind of preventing this from becoming another platform that they're spammed on. Is there going to be an opt-in requirement when businesses are doing?
There is an opt-in requirement. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. Actually, users have to be opted in. It's very easy to opt out. So even like right in the app, you can choose to opt out. So really, you know, the quality bar has to be kept high, right? Like it has to be a good experience for users. Yeah.
2 more questions, and by that you're opting in to stay a little bit longer and skipping out on tea. There are 2 questions right here, right in front, and then right at the back there. If you lean really close to me, you can speak into my lapel mic. How's that? No. There's a mic on its way. In fact, Johanna can hear your mic. I'll repeat the question. Hear your question. How do you find and utilize the platform is the question.
Yeah, so I will give my business card. And right now the way it's working is Google has actually signed up a lot of aggregators to the platform already. If you're interested, I'm happy to put you in touch with my colleagues. Basically what you do is you sign an NDA and you sign a terms of service agreement, and then we give you access to the API. And there's actually a really nice developer console that we just launched, which makes it pretty easy to build bots. So, yeah.
Cool. Johanna, thanks. One final question to take us into tea.
Yes, hi. Understanding a little bit how SMS used to work, which essentially it was just the header record at the start of a call. This seems to change it quite a bit to a proprietary kind of thing where who's going to be paying for all that data moving down to the end device?
Oh, on the business messaging side. Yeah, that's a good question. So you are right. So it is a challenge because obviously in prepaid markets, users are not going to be very happy if their data balance is used up by like Pizza Hut sending them a message. So what we've done is we've put together a range of IPs, and we're allowing the telcos to either zero rate, like they do today, or if they want, they could make a line item on their rate card and like have the brand subsidize the data. We do it that way. Yeah.
Cool.